Hello, and welcome back to the channel. And today, join me with my friend Adam.
How you doing, guys?
And we're going to be doing a first impression on the Lexus RZ. So I've picked it up earlier on today. Adam's pretty much only seen it for about 10 minutes, and we're just going to discuss and have a quick chat. So, first impressions, on you go.
First impression, first when I came out was literally like seeing the car, and you can basically say straight away it was a Lexus. It's just a next sort of like, let's call it a revolution from evolution from the older models, which I really like that Lexus decided to kind of stick to that let's call it a design language, and so that's obviously stands out on the road the most. Also, yeah, jumping in, it's like first thing is the luxurious finish in Alcantara, which is an absolutely beautiful shade also. But that's obviously down to spec. I'm aware of that. Yeah, when it obviously comes to driving, the first impression is obviously about the suspension, which seemed a little bit more firm. I would maybe make it slightly more, maybe tweak on the damping just a wee tiny bit. But again, I sort of got a reference to the Volkswagen ID4, which I've been in a couple of weeks ago, but that one was actually on the higher profile tyres, so maybe that one made slight difference on it as well. But yes, sitting inside as well, the first thing which we obviously discussed before is what stood out to us is how obviously you get this little storage internal. If it never had like inner handles, then it would genuinely like you wouldn't even guess that it's there. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of, obviously there is a little handle there, so it's an indicator, but I think it's a very, very great storage, especially if you're afraid that somebody might break into your car and it starts to look for things. So maybe if the handle wasn't there and you just see a bit of stitching going on, then you wouldn't even tell there is a storage just under the internal console.
No, exactly. And I quite like the feel of the car. Like, you know, like this kind of suede material.
Yeah.
It feels quite plush.
Very.
The steering wheel like feels quite nice in the hand. It just feels quite like the Lexus EV. Basically, you're not getting in feeling like it's a big learning curve. There's a little bit of learning curve versus a standard Lexus. However, there's still enough generic everyday car bits in here that you just get in and go, which is quite nice. Exterior styling, you had some opinions on that. Yeah,
it's especially this thing that stood out to me where the pan. Oh, here we go. What? Are we feel like on a roller coaster? The acceleration, that's insane. Yeah, but in regards to the body panels, which I've mentioned before, which is my absolute pet hate, because as I refer to the Defender, like if you see the panels that go above the arches or even on door, even you can see like the orange peel that is kind of like the way it's kind of painted. And the problem is, like I've noticed in some cars, especially in Defender, that as they start to age, when it comes to like outer sort of pressure, which is the temperature or sun, like basically starts to maybe, I don't know, starts to change the shape of the plastic. So I would love to see that. How's that gonna look after a few years? I've noticed like there is a little indentation, just a wee tiny bit, like as if like the mold starts to kind of lose its shape. So I think it will kind of affect its overall look. So I would probably highly advise, like soon after you buy this car, to maybe put like a wee protective tape and or whatever else that would kind of make it more, I don't know, last a wee bit longer, if that's the right word. Overall, like you can tell it's a Lexus, and obviously it does not necessarily drift away with its other models. So that's what I really like. However, I'm noticing that Lexus is kind of like, although it evolves from its older shape, like Toyota is kind of catching up on this. So I just hope that with that approach, Lexus won't shoot themselves in the foot when people start to go, oh, well, just buy a Toyota, you know what I mean? Because
well, that's about a £20,000 difference, I think, between the BZ4X than this, because it's £76,000, give or take.
There you go.
I think they're about 50 odd for a BZ.
There you go. So
obviously this has got the dual motor, 4-wheel drive, standard. I think this Toyota's front-wheel drive, single motor. And as you felt, the acceleration is quite strong in this.
Yes.
0 to 60s like low 5s, but you've just got that instant torque that an electric vehicle provides.
Very, very
what I want to show you is
responsive.
here, and you'll see it on the camera that Adam's not seen this yet. So if you look up at the skylight, touch this button, and it goes opaque.
Oh, nice one.
Isn't that cool?
Fun.
So
That's
instead
really
of
cool. Yeah.
like you can see that in the camera, instead of like a sunshade, you've got that. I don't think the Tesla has that from memory. I just remember it being very open all the time. I could be wrong, maybe an option. But I do like the fact that this has that little button you can push.
Yeah, when it comes to also like the noises which we've just heard there, at one point there was a beeping noise, but it gave me an impression that it was actually a car behind us. Of I don't know, somebody just frustrated felt that way, but it wasn't the case. There's no one behind us at that point, and obviously it kind of so that's one of the things that some people need to maybe get used to. Or as we've discussed before, it's more in the favour of older clientele, which the car kind of makes them more aware on the road of what is really
It's
going
quite
on.
bumpy here. And
Well, it took it quite well, yeah.
Takes it, but considering 20-inch wheels.
It's strange how it felt a little bit more firm on different roads than it was on this one, and we were aware that what we're going to approach, like, and obviously you've drove through it on purpose, but it didn't feel as bad. So it's quite an interesting adaptation. So I'm curious, why is that the Benz, or maybe it's just me being me, a bit too sensitive to that.
We're just going to quickly jump. We'll do one motorway junction, right, just so you can feel it.
A bit of an acceleration.
So we're going to be doing up to 50. Put the foot down and we're off. There we go.
Actually, I felt it going down my feet. So it's pretty impressive. It feels heavy when it accelerates. It does feel heavy.
Yeah.
It does feel heavy.
I don't know the weight on it, but I would say it feels better part of 2 tons.
But again, to be fair, like, obviously, I think this is what sort of you might expect, especially if you're getting so much quality what you're getting inside. Like, especially the materials you're getting, like even like the flooring mats, like you can see you get 2 different layers. I wish people that are going to watch this will be able to see that, or even have a look online. But it's like you can tell there is quite a few layers of the actual mat. So that kind of shows you about the detail and the quality overall, which obviously so.
And that's what I like about clever engineering or clever attention to detail in cars. You know, it doesn't always have to be a Lexus, but we're in one today, and that's what's quite nice about it is the feel, and it's just the way it's acting like this. It's nice.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. I quite like the that's a wee leather. I feel that. At first when I looked at it, I thought it was plastic, but
no,
it's
like
definitely a synthetic leather.
Yeah, some sort of
it's obviously it was quite misleading. Is you can look at the texture with obviously the center console, and this is slightly different. It feels a little bit soft. I'm wondering how would that last in a long term.
Well, it's like the LC, I guess. That's got soft material everywhere.
So I'm curious how that gonna last. Obviously, knowing that it feels gentle. That's what I mean. It feels very gentle.
And space-wise, being like an EV, it just feels like quite cavernous in here, doesn't it? Like
100%.
A lot of room in the back. It's like the leg room in the back is impressive.
Especially, I'm noticing how even like you get little adjuster for the temperature, and inside it's not just a digit. You're getting like a little coloration going on, and on the left is blue, and on the right is red, which obviously indicates cold and hot. Which I think is a great sort of like little detail which gives it a bit of exclusive, makes the car more exclusive, let's call it.
A unique point, I guess, that makes it look
very unique. It's very unique. I've never seen anything like it.
This guy knocks on the road.
Oh yeah, he's thankfully he's off the road, so we are sort of safe as well. Yeah, gigantic screen. That's one of the things that stands out. I don't think there is even any tablet that you can buy offering this size. That looks to me like.
I've not googled it, but I think that looks like a good 16 inches across, something like that maybe.
I would yeah.
15, 16.
Yeah.
It's quite wide.
It's quite wide. It's very wide. It's very wide.
You get in the car and it's just like there.
Yeah. Although I'm noticing the one that is
for the driver.
For the driver, it's small, but it's also slightly darker. I'm wondering if you can adjust the brightness. Because seen from here, it seems a little bit.
Oh, there's a button there. It's maximum brightness.
It's maximum brightness. So there you go. I think that would have been a little bit brighter, especially because we're getting. I suppose maybe if you make it a little bit darker in here, is it changing the match? The view?
No.
Nah, not as much. Yeah. So yeah, it would be nice if the screen was a little bit brighter for that. Nice wee console as well. The imitation of the wood. It looks like.
It's nice. It's just a nice cabin to be in, and that's what I like about it. It's quite quiet.
It's very roomy. I like how there is a nice gap. Obviously, there is like no storage compartment, but we've obviously discussed that there is obviously one in the middle.
And you've got your radiator.
Yeah, exactly.
And you experienced that because it was on when you came in.
Exactly.
Which a very hot heating element, which is quite nice to turn these guys off.
So that's obviously makes it a little bit.
So this this is quite bumpy. This beside street.
Very, yeah.
And it's doing all right. It's doing
very all right. Comparing even like to my girlfriend's Panamera, I would say the dampness in it does a slightly better job, which is a plus obviously for this car.
So we're going to put it to reverse here, and this is where it beaks and bongs. That the camera quality in this car is really good. So I've only had it a day so far, so this is first impressions. But you push this knob down to the left, so you get one beep like that for reversing, which I'm sure, as we say, we can turn off, I'd like to think, but because I've only got this for the week, I'm not going to fiddle around with all that. But I like the 360 camera. You can see it's stitched in like that.
Interesting enough, that 360 camera has I would say has got better quality than the actual reverse one.
I thought that initially, but
however, I think the reason being is because the reverse one is 3 times larger.
Yes.
Which is stretching out the pixels and overall
so you hear
quality.
But you just hear all these beeps.
Yeah, those are a wee bit unnecessary, as if like we are aware that we're reversing, so like we don't need like extra indication telling us that this is what's happening.
And then you've got another beep.
Yeah,
because you've got the bushes behind us there.
There's bushes behind us there, so it is. Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, that's annoying.
Totally, so it is, yeah.
It's alright. The camera quality is good, easy to park, even for being a relatively large car. It's quite easy to sort out, isn't it?
Definitely. It's pretty good impression of the very first ride as well. A lot of charging points.
USB-C.
USB-C.
Fast chargers.
So yeah, if you're an iPhone owner, unlucky. Anyway, but unless maybe you got the charger port, is that what it is?
You can put your phone there for wireless charging as well.
Yeah, so I suppose options. Right. Okay, so I'm taking back what I've just said, and definitely.
Yes, it's an alright cabin space.
It's cabin space. I think the thing that I'm kind of obsessed with is just the Alcantara. Like, it looks so premium and makes this car looking so premium as well.
Like
and
beautiful.
The balance,
I'll try and remember to put overlay shots in this, but yeah, it's really nice. The back materials. Definitely. Probably not the most kid-friendly interior. That's what I take away from it. I can't imagine jam, butterfingers, all that stuff.
Yeah, I've already noticed that there is a little stain and obviously this little compartment here.
And that's not even Alcantara.
Exactly. So it'll be
or suede or whatever the material is. It's like a vegan suede material, but it's all right. Totally. But it's nice. It's a nice colour combo. Grey exterior, black two-tone paint. This tan with the black stripe, it's nice. It's
very nice. It's very nice. I think it's a great balance in between these colours as well, and even that grey, it kind of, in some cases you would think looks quite dull, and it kind of reminds me of like the cars which you could buy in 90s and could be your very first car, and this is the sort of shade that you were getting on a dashboard. But obviously that's an option which is obviously in this spec, and it's nicely balanced out by the lightly tan interior as well. So
overall thoughts then?
Oh, I'm very would say impressed. It does not disappoint. I wouldn't say that I don't feel like I'm in a Lexus 100%. I love even this little sporty accent, even the shape of the steering wheel, which is very, very close to the one you've got in your LC, which I like that certain manufacturers, especially Audi, because even when you buy an Audi A3, you're gonna get the same shape wheel which you get in R8, and it seems like it's the same with Lexus. It keeps that a bit of a, I don't know, because it's obviously free arm wheel, it gives that like extra sportiness. Looks very, like, I would say, compact. It reminds me sort of like the steering wheel with which you were getting in your very, very first setups and for your racing games.
Right, okay.
Do you know how compact it looks? It's like got a lot of buttons. The buttons are quite large as well, but obviously they are easy to read. And
a narrow rim, like that's quite a narrow diameter.
It everything else, but yeah, the rim is kind of narrow, which I suppose is kind of balancing out, and also placing the favour that because it's slightly narrower, you're getting a greater view at obviously at the screen in front of you.
Yeah, it's very easy, clear to read. That's the main takeaway. It's been designed clear to read, and getting 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, which probably means nothing to your eye, but. Is that good or bad? You comment below and let us know.
Yeah, completely.
And about 91 miles of range, and you can probably agree with me, that's about just over half a tank.
Yes,
half a charge.
Half a charge.
Yeah, so 91 miles, so we're looking probably 180, 190 miles fully charged, based on today's weather. It's 16 degrees in August in Scotland. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, totally.
No, it's a cool car. I like it. I'm very
it's
grateful
a great car.
Lexus giving it for a while to.
Oh, it's a great opportunity to have even to get.
So may as well say thank you to Lexus Glasgow at this point for allowing me to have this car.
Yeah, I'll drop through and tell him thank you because
Adam's enjoying this.
I am grateful for this. It's really great.
They let me be the car I show pals and they tell you about it. So there's our freeway dynamic going on.
Yeah, totally.
So we're talking about this roof here. So touch the button.
Yeah.
If we were in like California, somewhere like Dubai, where it's warm, intense sunshine.
I'm curious at this point. Yeah, I see. Sorry, I interrupted, but referring to your point, I'm curious if the technology allows to maybe put a tent on top of that, and that would maybe solve the issue in a way that like
maybe because it is darkened glass.
Yeah,
but it's fine for us in Scotland.
Exactly.
But I think, and also I'm curious as I said about this range because we've got 91 miles right now. If I did AC on and the cooled seats, and obviously that was closed, like obviously trying to keep your car cool. Yeah, you're going to lose range, I think.
Yeah, that might be interesting. So I think in this case, maybe like extra sort of like a bit of tenting action going on. Put on top of that our roof.
It is a little bit tinted, I would say, because you look outside, it's not clear glass like some.
But obviously, in like different countries, I think could have maybe extra touch would be necessary, but that would be obviously through some custom garage or whatever, or maybe it's just an option that will come up down the line. Because it was just among the requests, the owners of the car. So all the saying this, like you've seen that sort of technology. Shmi uses in the Shmi museum to kind of like close off his space in his own office. So it's very, very impressive to see it in the car right now, as a one of the, let's call it, innovations that are going on
I'm just
and are available.
Like, in the camera, you can see the back seats how
definitely. Yeah, you can obviously see it happening right now.
It's quite, you guys probably see it in the camera right now, but that's
absolutely. I'm very impressed with, especially when you look at the back. You can maybe not see it as much, but the back seat seems like it's so farther out. Like it makes you think that there's more space than when you actually look at the car from the side.
Oh, there is. Like when you sit back there,
it's so much space.
Room. I think because there's no petrol tank and flat floor, relatively flat floor.
You're definitely sitting higher at the back. Definitely, you're sitting higher. So I'm definitely. I'm curious how would that be in the long term when you're driving, especially when you're having like your knees slightly up and obviously your pelvis is slightly obviously like tilted forward. So I'm curious like how does that affect the comfort of the ride as well, because these seats do feel very, very firm, but again there is barely 3,000 miles on this car, so that sort of like sponge will kind of work itself out.
And they're fully electric, because I've still to try and get myself Like, I don't know if you've got adjustment down the side. I've not actually checked. Yeah, you've got
you can raise it. Right, okay.
But
So
there's
you
like
obviously
have you got a
that.
circular button for your lumbar support?
Oh, it can go very low. Oh, that's impressive. That's
I did
very,
like that because you can go.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I've just discovered that button.
Yeah. That's quite nice. We're going to be sitting here playing with electric seats in the camera.
Yeah,
but
well, we're
like, I'm sitting like as low as it goes
change
now.
the angles, yeah.
So now I feel like
that's the thing that I've noticed, that the seat completely changed the profile, but I've been pushing the button the same way all the time, so it feels like that the button is very, very sensitive.
you
kind of need to
the front or back, it will tilt it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see now. So basically the button kind of tilts to the side, but it's like it's like a lever, so it's like you can obviously like adjust it.
Yeah, it lowers the back or the front.
At the front, yeah.
So it pivots, so you have to kind of push both down to go completely down. Otherwise you're pivoting, yeah.
So I'm very, very impressed by the variety of the angles you can get of your seat to get that perfect position.
I think you've got a perfect position at the front. Like the back ones are fixed, but are pretty fixed.
Yeah, it's very, very impressive. So you can obviously like
a taller person like you can have that lower back a bit, stretch your legs out.
Completely. But I think for the people who would like drive quite a long time and to have back difficulties, like for example myself, I think you can get the right height of the seat and the right profile, so you avoid any sort of like soreness throughout the long drive. So I think this is a huge bonus for people with especially having back problems. So I think that's a massive bonus.
I'm just checking when we were talking about that, the mood lighting, I think we've only got like in there. Like I can see it, you know, in there. You could probably see down there. Maybe.
Yeah, I can see it at the back as well.
But there's not a lot. Like,
it's not really a lot.
It's not like a Mercedes or BMW. There's not like.
Even the brightness, when I look at it at the back, the brightness is kind of not the strongest. It kind of makes me think that it's very unnecessary, because when you look sit here, you can barely tell. It's very gentle, and like it doesn't even stand out. Like,
I think it's more like it maybe illuminating this pocket, like maybe a little bit. I don't know if it was pitch black. Might help illuminate what you've got in your door card. It's not really giving like showing off lines. Like there's nothing going. As far as I'm aware, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like showing off any lines.
Totally, that's true.
You keep touching the material. I think that's your favourite bit.
Oh, it's 100%. Like it's the quality of it is pretty impressive.
And this is cool. Like anybody who's not seen a Lexus before, it's a double hinged armrest, and it's pretty deep. Like a pair of sunglasses in there, but yeah, it's pretty deep. But yeah, it's all good.
It's pretty impressive what they've done as well. The console is quite big as well, but like my resting arm, like the angle is quite nice, because I can like, obviously I'm getting a wee resting bit from my elbow and this elbow as well, so I can like sit comfortably. Yeah. This seat generally feels like wider than the one you'll get in the office. I think the only problem is maybe where is this column right here, is that it's slightly, I can't position my elbow in the same line. But again, I think maybe because also I got my seat really far back. If I maybe move forward, so for somebody who's slightly shorter, I think they can easily rest their both elbows, have them on the line, and they don't necessarily feel as if like they touching the pillar as well, which is pretty impressive as well. I don't think you can get that in many cars. So it's a big plus from Lexus. I think you're getting that extra comfort, and you do feel like you are in a Lexus as well. Like it's like you genuinely feel like you are in a limo as well. So nice. it's pretty impressive.
Thanks for that. But we may as well round up this video. Thank you for your thoughts in the car.
Great. Very well.
Sure,
thank you for this.
Hopefully everybody's enjoyed the first opinions, the first impressions on the Lexus RZ. Just want to say thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, and thanks. See you later.